What's up, guys? Welcome back to a special episode of Neek the Podcast. It's our movie reviews podcast. Me and Josh, no special guest, just me and Josh, are going to talk to you about some Fantastic Four, the new Josh Trank and Fox joint. A lot of controversy surrounding it. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you haven't had to see the movie to know if it was good or bad. But we're going to go into some detail about what we thought about it. And obviously from Josh's noises, you can tell what he thought about it. Josh, what'd you think, man? What did you think?
I want to say I don't have any redeeming qualities about this. I'm going to go all in on it from the beginning. But I don't think it was 7% on Rotten Tomatoes bad. It's not much better than that, but it's not 7% on Rotten Tomatoes bad.
That's true.
And I want to emphasize this next point, especially, and I know you're probably going to say this as well. And hearing this from some people who saw it earlier in the week made me go into this with a little bit more of an open mind as well. This movie is not 100% Josh Trank's fault. Seeing this, there are about 50 trillion different things going on within this movie. This is Josh Trank's fault. This is Simon Kinberg's fault. This is Fox's fault. About the only 5 people not to blame for this movie are Miles Teller, Kate Mara, Jamie Bell, Michael B. Jordan, and Toby Kebbell. Those are the 5 people not to blame in this movie because they genuinely see, well, maybe not Toby Kebbell. The other 4 look like they are genuinely trying, because there's just no way you can try with what he was given. The other 4 look like they are genuinely trying with what they are given, and they are not given much. All 4 of them are incredibly bright young actors, and they are just given the worst script. I'm not even exaggerating here. The worst script I have ever heard in my life.
So why don't we break it down like this? And I'm going to actually ask you if you notice this. To me, it felt like there were 2 movies going on, and you can see where they switch being those movies. You get the first half, which is obviously Josh Trank, right? Right before they get their powers and when they go into, I don't know if legally we can call it the negative zone anymore, but they go to Planet
Zero.
When they go to Planet Zero, and then there's an obvious tonal shift right after they start getting their powers, and it becomes a superhero movie and very cheesy. Do you think that's true?
I mean, there's so much that went on with this, and I did feel a tonal shift with that. It helped that I knew what to look for also when I went and saw this. Not just from you who saw it. I saw it a couple days later. But from other reviews noted this as well, right? There definitely is a tonal shift. The first half of it does not feel like a superhero origin film. It very much feels mysterious. It has that horror element to it. It feels very Chronicle-ish, right? It does not feel like your typical superhero origin. It's not a feel-good movie. It feels like it's going to knock you on your ass. The second half is very bland. It's very generic. It's very Fox.
Yes.
It's not good at all. Had the movie continued like it was in the first half, I don't know if it would have been good at all, but I think it would have been a more interesting film.
Well, we talked about this not only on episode 25, but we also, talked about it on Facebook and Facebook Messenger and whatnot, that the reports that were coming out was that Trank initially wanted to make the Fantastic Four movie more like Cronenberg, David Cronenberg style horror, which if you've never seen, I mean, I know you have, but just to anybody listening, if you've never seen a David Cronenberg movie, it's very grounded type of horror, even if it has to do with the supernatural. And it's very weird, and it would have fit. I think it would have fit. I don't know if I would have called it the pinnacle of Fantastic Four movies, but I think it would have been an interesting take. But once you switch to them getting their powers, the movie turns into the X-Men almost, like X3. And the reason I say that is throughout the whole movie, I mean, it is Simon Kinberg. And,
that's what I was going to get to.
And Kinberg has this thing where he can write really smart stuff, especially with Dr. Storm, the father of Sue and Johnny. He said a lot of really intelligent and really endearing things.
Reggie Cathy.
The rest of the cast, though, said like their dialogue was like super juvenile. It's like he doesn't know how to write young adult. And by that, I mean like 18, 19, 20, 21. It was either, he can write a child's language or he can write like super adult language. And that threw me off. But that the original part of it, like, going into the movie and watching up until they got their powers, I was like, this movie's actually pretty decent. I don't know why everybody's, just knocking it down. And then they get their powers. And it just turned into a Sci-Fi Channel movie. Actually, I think Sci-Fi could have done better with it. I know they were trying to go for the Ultimates universe. I mean, you might know more about this than I do, but I don't remember the Thing being an assassin for the government.
That specifically threw me for a loop. At that point, I literally laughed out loud. The Thing, working for the United States government. You have a giant rock man working covert ops for the United States government. He's the orange guy in Fantastic Four.
Yep.
It's all I could think about. Zach Braff yelling that.
Well, the funny thing is, right, is that like I kind of get that, like if he was going into like the Middle East or into a desert terrain, but one of the ones they show is he's in the jungle. Yeah, he's in the jungle, and I don't know about you, but against dark green, orange stands the fuck out. So I don't know, that really pissed me off. Like I was just like, the Thing, like I get why the government would do it. I just don't see why they're doing it. Like you're trying to make the Thing darker. You're trying to make Ben Grimm darker. Like there's a lot of other stuff they could have gone with instead of him being an assassin. Like that was just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I do like touching on the Ultimates comment that you made though. When I heard that they based it on the Ultimates, I actually got really excited for that. Clearly, basing the other two movies off the regular universe did not work. But basing it on the Ultimates, okay, cool. We're going to take a darker take. It worked in the MCU. Clearly, the Avengers movies they take a lot of inspiration from Ultimates, right? We see a lot of that, especially in Nick Fury and in Hawkeye. We see a lot of that. I like that. And Mark Miller wrote Ultimate Fantastic Four. He was an architect of the Ultimate Universe. He is a consultant at Fox on this universe. He gave his endorsement to this film. He is an architect of this universe. Where is he in this? He supposedly did some rewrites on this. He's like, oh, this movie's going to be awesome. Like, I've seen the script. Like, I was on set for this. Dude, your name is now soiled. You gave your endorsement to this. I don't want you anywhere near these films now.
Well, and that's the thing is that the end of the second half of the movie plays out like you would expect a Fantastic Four movie to play out. It's hokey, it's cheesy, but the movie didn't set it up for that.
Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Definitely not an Ultimate Fantastic Four. Also, the hokey and cheesiness, and I mean, it's especially ramps up once we get to Doom, and we'll get into that in a second. But the movie's tone wasn't that. If you're going to have the Thing as an assassin and you're planning on having Johnny Storm as an assassin, it's... I don't, oh man, there's so much to say and just not enough words that I just don't want to like I want to curse and I want to make
I don't want to go ham on this film.
Like
everybody's already said it. You've heard it by now.
Pretty much. I might have to do it for Doom. And we're just going to get into it right now with Doom.
Just open the can. Open the can.
Other than name, there was absolutely nothing fucking recognizable about Dr. Doom. Okay,
he's an evil blogger.
He's well. I mean, he was a scientist, and they thankfully, actually, unthankfully,
I'm always going to call him an evil blogger.
Unthankfully, they didn't keep his name Domasev. I know a lot of people. I was one of the people pissed off that they changed the name. You know what? With this iteration, I wish his name was Victor Domasev, so that I could be like, nope, it's not Doctor Doom. It's Victor Domasev. I don't want that to be Doctor Doom. He was completely overpowered. I don't think I've ever said that about a villain in my entire life.
He was ridiculously OP.
Like, I never mind on Planet Zero, but on Earth, meant like he could make people boil and fry from the inside. And of course, they don't ever explain why.
No.
I mean, there is a scene. It's a cool scene, but it's ripped straight from the Japanese anime Akira, where he's walking down a hall making people explode. And I was just like, but that's not what fucking Doctor Doom does. Like, what is going on? And then we get back to Planet Zero, where the big finale fight happens, right? And you come to find out Doctor Doom can control Planet Zero, like literally control the planet. He can make things form. I mean, he made a goddamn interdimensional fucking portal out of rock, which is, by that point, is not the most ridiculous thing you've seen on screen.
No, that's actually probably normal at this point.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, cool, whatever, man. You guys are just pulling shit out of your ass at this point. So the next time someone tells me, oh, Ultron lifted a whole city up with magnetic, engines and shit, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's based in real science. Tell me again how Doctor Doom can just fucking, control a whole planet, which I'm sorry, but with all of the powers that they showed, there is no way in hell that the Fantastic Four would have beat him. Like, they're not. I mean,
he's only Avengers and, the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I mean, he looks at somebody and they just blow up. Okay, there's no warning, nothing at that. And then the dialogue gets really shitty. I'm sorry, man. I laughed so hard at the line, "There is no victor. There is only doom." And I mean, immediately I took to Twitter and I put, if your name is Dana or Victor, you are no longer those people. Just remember that. I said in the movie theater, I was with one of our castmates, somebody who's very active in the Facebook group, Joshua Hendricks. I went with him. And he will tell you that I audibly said, once Victor Von Doom showed up as Dr. Doom, what the fuck is this? Like, I at that point, all you can do is laugh. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't even be disgusted. It's just like, who thought this was a good fucking idea? Like, I can't imagine anyone who's looked at a comic book in the past 20 years and goes, yeah, that's going to be Dr. Doom. And here's the other thing. This is something that Josh pointed out to me. Not you, the other Josh.
Yeah.
Which I thought about myself, but he actually brought it up in conversation. He was like, so let me get this straight. Dr. Doom can control a whole goddamn planet, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay. So why didn't he create himself food or, someone to talk to, or I don't know, a chair or some shit? But he'll create himself a fucking green hood. Like, that's what he creates. And it's the only thing that he creates other than an interdimensional portal. So remember, kids, if you're playing at home, if you ever get lost in another dimension where
on Planet Zero.
On Planet Zero or Planet Coca-Cola or Planet Nerf, whatever you want it to be, it doesn't matter. And you wind up being able to control the fucking planet. You're not allowed to make anything useful. Just make a goddamn hood and an interdimensional portal. And that's all the fuck that you made.
I mean, just... There's nothing you can really do but just laugh.
Exactly. I mean, and that's...
The movie literally, at a certain point, I wondered if I was watching the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four-sick is something I've heard it called. Because there's a 4 literally in the middle of Fantastic is how this is stylized. I wondered if I was watching Fantastic Four or if I was watching a Mel Brooks film at one point.
Right.
Because it was so horrible. I literally do not ever want to see another Fantastic Four film, no matter who makes it. It would take a lot, even for a Marvel Studios reboot. It would take a lot for me to see it at this point, and that's coming from a diehard Marvel fanboy. This was so atrociously bad. I mean, we've gone on in a lot on Simon Kinberg on this review. He is one of 3 writers on this film. Josh Trank did writing on this film. He did not do the writing on Chronicle. That was Max Landis. He did a phenomenal job on that film. Okay. Josh Trank did writing on this film. He is credited as the co-script writer on this film. He shares a fair amount of this responsibility. We don't know who's responsible for this train wreck, this flaming garbage truck of a film. But for this dialogue, there are two big culprits. And those are the 2 men responsible for this. Now, in a tentpole film like this, the studio executives get their way. They're like, oh, well, we want this, and we want this, and oh, this will be funny. This will go into the trailers, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. This will get people in. And you just have to wonder at a certain point, where did Josh Trank's vision get cut off, or was he always going to be the scapegoat? And I think in this situation, the story behind this film will always be more fascinating than whatever the end product was going to be.
Oh, sure. Actually, I don't know if we would have gotten the whole Cronenberg horror thing, like to the max, it actually might have been a really good movie.
I think it could have been.
I think there would have.
Possible.
I think it would have been a good movie for film auteurs, people like you and me who enjoy movies. Obviously, we probably would have slammed it for, not being anything really Fantastic Four. But I think as a film itself, it would have held up. It's like going to see the movie Wanted.
It
Wanted
could have been watchable.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, not just watchable. You might have been like, it's a good film, but if you're a Fantastic Four fan, it's going to piss you off. Fair enough. It's like the movie Wanted. If you have read the graphic novels of Wanted, you came to expect something. If you go see the movie,
like in name only,
yeah, and the bullet bending shit, and that was about it. But Wanted is still a very good movie.
Yes,
it's not the actual interpretation of the books. Shit happens sometimes, right? But this movie, like, you can tell they were really pushing for it to be in the shared universe with the X-Men. And unfortunately, I don't think Fox really realizes that the Fantastic Four crossing over with the X-Men is, it's a cool idea. It's just not as cool of an idea or as easy as an idea as, like, say, the Fantastic Four crossing over with Spider-Man. Or crossing over with the Avengers. They tonally fit better.
I don't even know if it was them pushing the X-Men crossover necessarily so fast. It was them trying to establish the Fantastic Four's world immediately in this first movie. Yeah. They wanted to immediately establish every single Fantastic Four character right away in this film, like they had been around forever. They wanted to compete with Marvel right out of the gate. And that's the problem. But then they recanted their statements about these crossovers as soon as they saw the reviews come out. They're like, oh, nope, parallel universes, aka this never happened. This never existed. Yeah. It's like, well, then why even have some faith in your product? Like, follow through on this. Come on.
They have come out and said that Fox is still committed to the Fantastic Four characters, and we they said it. They did.
I know what they said, but
and we talked about it in the main cast,
episode 25.
Episode 25 that Fox should really do the deal with Marvel and get the X-Men TV rights, because at least they do at least in my opinion, an okay job with the X-Men. So far, they have totally destroyed the Fantastic Four. I actually didn't mind the first movie. I don't think it's a great film, but
Michael Chiklis, man.
I love Michael Chiklis. I grew up with the commish, so I will always love him.
Yep.
However, Marvel, I think, would take them back in a heartbeat and give up the TV rights. And when we said it in the main show, there's so much that goes along with the Fantastic Four. Not only do you get the Fantastic Four back, but you get the Shi'ar Empire. You also get back Doctor Doom to play a villain and whatnot. And there's a lot of things just in the Fantastic Four world that you could do. There's other characters that we haven't even mentioned. Villains that spurned out of the Fantastic Four that you could use. It's almost kind of sad that Marvel didn't have this opportunity, or that Fox didn't make a crappier Fantastic Four earlier, because Civil War, there could have been the Negative Zone, there could have been Reed Richards, we could have seen, that whole
Sue.
Yeah, Sue, because she plays a big part in it as well.
Yep.
Same thing with Age of Ultron. Sue plays a huge part in the comic book series. Unfortunately, we wouldn't have seen her with Wolverine, but she could have been in it, or the whole Fantastic Four, just a cameo and whatnot. But that's getting definitely off track. Going back to this movie, I definitely do not recommend people going to see it in theaters.
God, no.
I will say this: you should see it at some point.
Go ahead.
Just because you should never say something's terrible until you've actually seen it. And we've had a couple of people, even in the group, said they really enjoyed it. They would watch it again. For me, though, as a film, number one, it's atrocious. It's hodgepodge put together with masking tape and a little bit of sand for agitation. And as a comic book movie, being based on the Fantastic Four, it does not capture anywhere close to not only the essence of the core team, but Doctor Doom himself. So no, I will not recommend it. I will see it. Don't go to the theaters. Try to catch it for free or at Redbox. Or as Josh told everybody to do, buy a ticket to Ant-Man, walk into the Fantastic Four theater.
Yeah, my final thoughts. Pretty much the same thing. This was atrocious. It's not 7% on Rotten Tomatoes bad. I don't think I could ever score a film in single digits unless it's by M. Night Shyamalan. But this is pretty bad. This is no exaggeration. This is one of the worst films I've ever seen. This is the worst film I've seen of the year. Probably my least favorite comic book film. This really depresses me. I was not gung-ho on seeing this. I was convinced to see this, though, after seeing the bad reviews. There's no way it can be this bad. I love the cast. I've praised Miles Teller repeatedly on this show. Whiplash, best movie of the year last year. Kate Mara, love her. Michael B. Jordan, Jamie Bell, even Toby Kebbell. Love all of them. Tim Blake Nelson. Who does not like Tim Blake Nelson? Love all of them, and just I don't know what went wrong. Chronicle was a fantastic first film for Josh Trank. Really like him, and just something went horribly wrong with this film. Do not go to the theaters to see this. See it on Redbox, but I have the same opinion. See this movie. If for no other reason, then it will literally make you appreciate every other movie you will ever see for the rest of your life even more. Even the crappy ones, you will appreciate the visuals, you will appreciate the framing, the sound, you will appreciate literally everything else even more.
Before you move on, the visuals, and I actually forgot to mention this, the visuals are really good. Except for Mr. Fantastic stretching. It was the worst CGI I've seen in a long time. And I didn't understand that because he's standing next to the Thing who looks amazing, and then his arm stretches and you're just like, wow, that looks really shitty.
And if by some act of God, a Fantastic Four 2 is somehow made by Fox, will somebody get Ben Grimm some pants?
Yeah. Not that it's like indecent or anything. It's
just awkward.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even say awkward. It just looks off.
It's uncomfortable. For me, it was uncomfortable. It's just like, please.
Look, man, I watched Viggo Mortensen butt-ass naked whip two guys' asses in a bathhouse. I can watch an orange guy pantless. I don't know.
I can't do it. Just
looking at it, it's like that. It's like looking at a picture and you're like, I know something's off in the picture, but I can't put my finger on it. Don't put your finger on the Thing.
Come on,
or the Thing's thing.
You had one job. You had one job.
Like, I could understand if he was naked for the first part of him being the Thing, but you're telling me a year later, nobody's like, here, dude, to make you feel more like a human being, here's some clothing.
It was a couple years later.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, I think baseline it was a year, like a year or more, a year or more, right?
I thought it was like 3 years. I don't.
Well,
Regardless, it's
even so, man, 3 weeks of 3 weeks is too long of a time. And I'm not saying again, it's not like we're prudes. It's just,
I mean, come on, you can go to like Big and Tall or something and get him some like size quadruple 50 bajillion Hawaiian swim trunks and put them on or something.
yeah, it could have been anything. And again, it's not like they showed his genitals or anything. Although now the question from Mallrats is the thing is Dork as orange as his rock skin. It is, but I don't know. You look at it and you're just like, pants would make the aesthetic better. Not like he needs.
And that's the thing. It's just like that. It's things like that though. It's small things on top of the big things. It's like the small things though would have made this better.
Yeah.
It's like that's part of the costume. That's part of the look. Like, come on, are you that lazy?
Well, I think they were just like, well, he's covered in rock, nothing's really showing, and we should show that he would be comfortable. I don't know. Maybe they wanted to represent nudists because they don't have a representative superhero.
I guess. I don't know. And Kate Mara's hair. That's my last complaint about this movie. You can tell when they went and did reshoots because her hair changes color. They did not change the wig. If you watch this movie, you watch it. Watch her wig. They did not change the color of her hair. I thought people were joking with me, and when I went and saw it, her hair changes colors. Nice. It's awesome.
Actually, her performance I was a little upset with. Not like her actually acting, but more that they wrote Sue Storm as kind of this like cold and very like introverted character, and it's like, but Sue Storm's so extroverted, like she's so caring of other people. The other characters they got right. Normally Michael B. Jordan was great as Johnny Storm, and they should have given him a whole hell of a lot more to
Michael
work
B.
with.
Jordan and Miles Teller are the standouts.
Yes, they are. Miles Teller, very good. Reed Richards for what they gave him, although it wasn't much. Would have liked to see more of that.
I was really down on Miles Teller as Reed Richards, for the record, and I love Miles Teller. I was like, this man is not Mr. Fantastic. He still does not look like Mr. Fantastic. He still looks like he's 15 years old.
He also, the start of the movie, he was a little too awkward, I think.
Oh, he's still too awkward. But.
Well, I mean, that just seems like this new thing that all these up and coming directors do, where they want to like, give you that whole time or place out of time thing, where it feels like it's the 80s or the late 70s, and everybody acts like, hey, how you doing? I'm monotone and awkward. And I mean, that's cool, but yeah, it was good to see though that even before the powers that they started opening up more when they were around each other and kind of working. That was like the only thing that I would really call Fantastic 4E-ish.
Not
much. Yeah, no. Anyway, you guys have heard Redbox. Redbox, or when it does come on HBO, if you own premium channels or whatever.
It won't be on HBO. This will be on FX.
If you get a chance, please do watch it. Only because there are some decent parts, but you really should know why everybody's kind of up in arms about this. It's not something that longtime Fantastic Four fans should, tweet death threats to Fox or anything. But
oh God, please don't be that person.
Don't be that person. But if the petition comes your way for Fox to deal with Marvel to get those rights back, please do it. And not just for the Fantastic Four, but everything that is attached to them. Do it. Just do it. Because, again, I believe Fantastic Four would make a killer TV show that is attached to the movies better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, pretty much. And we would really love to see the full Illuminati. Yes. God, would we love to see that.
And I'd really like to see Kang. So
Kang the Conqueror, yes. Who would make a great first season villain. Just saying. Marvel, hire us, as always.
Please. I'm unemployed now.
That's right. He is. He graduated. Congratulations, Josh. For everybody out there. Well, that's our Neek movie review. As always, guys, thank you for watching, listening, if that's what your forte is, and also being a part of the Facebook group. If you are or aren't, it's okay. We all think of you as equals. except for the ones who are actually in the Facebook group. You're better. You're better people. No, I'm kidding. We love everybody who listens. Please get in contact with us if you don't agree with the Fantastic Four review, or if you do want to talk more about it, you can hit me up on Twitter at Darth Biebs, DarthBiebs, or you can hit up Josh on Twitter at Josh_FINN. Or you can join the Facebook page because we always talk about that so much. Or you can email us at neekpodcast at gmail.com. And Ray will probably answer you because he fiddles with the email. But thank you guys for listening again. And as always, keep it nerdy.